Hi, it's BNL from Thank Before You Type, and we're here with Triyo Fitness. Thank you guys so much for being willing to take the time out to let us interview you today.
Yeah,
So,
what's going on? How you guys doing? You guys good?
Yeah, we're doing well.
So if you guys wouldn't mind, could you guys just quickly introduce yourselves?
Yeah, so my name is Khalil. What's up? My name is Ahmad, and my name is Malik. We are identical triplet brothers. We started Triyo Fitness, which is our fitness, our health and wellness brand, and we create content online. We train clients in Philly as well as online. And we also do a lot of motivational stuff. So before the quarantine, and actually still during the quarantine.
Yeah.
So we're personal trainers, we're group fitness instructors. I specialize in boxing training, but also just regular strength training, weights. Ahmad, I specialize in. Well, I work at Barry's, but it's closed right now. So, but I specialize mostly in running class as well as strength training. And I work at Unite Fitness, and again, all of us do Triyo Fitness, but those are the individual gyms that we're at. And I specialize in a lot of cardio as well as a lot of high intensity interval training. Yeah, I didn't say it, but I teach a Rumble.
Nice. So can you guys, you already mentioned Triyo Fitness and some of the work that you do, but can you just tell us a little bit about how you guys got started, what inspired all this, and how you got to where you are today?
Yeah, so at the beginning, Triyo Fitness we were actually Three Triplets Fitness. So that was our original name, but we had to get that changed real quick. So it's too long. Yeah. But we started in high school. We've been doing sports, in athletics our entire lives, but we got to high school, senior year, and our parents were like, hey, you guys should find a passion, something you like doing together as a group, and just start pursuing it. And so we decided to make an ab workout video. Didn't know what we were doing, just had a couple of iPhones, set up the cameras and everything, and put it on YouTube. And it was pretty popular the first 3 days. And we were like, whoa, okay, people kind of mess with this. Let's see where this is gonna go. We made a logo, had our name, got some branding and everything. And by all of that, I mean, we did it. And by we, I mean, I was typing on Microsoft Word, trying to figure it out using the shapes and everything. But we did what we could. And then that summer, we had our very first boot camp. We had T-shirts printed and everything. And we probably had 15 people come out. 14 people were family. And then one of them was like somebody that we didn't know. And our dog. Yeah. But we gave out free T-shirts to everybody and just kind of like got our first event going. And eventually, when we got to University of Pennsylvania, our sophomore year, we started doing events on campus.
How did that happen, Malik? I think Malik tells us part of the story.
So, I mean, basically, there was nothing like that going on campus. Nobody was doing fitness events. There was a gym like every campus usually has, but nobody was really taking charge of that, especially in terms of from a student perspective. So we just wanted to be the fitness guys on campus, and so we went directly to the the house dean of the dorm that we lived in. There's a lounge at the top floor. We said, hey, we want to use this space and do fitness events. And no one had ever approached them like that before, but they said, cool, as long as you guys are certified, all that good stuff, we'll make it happen. And so then from there, we just started putting on totally free events on campus. Students came out. The first one probably
we were not getting paid.
Yeah, we were not getting paid for this. The first one had maybe 18.
Nah,
less than that. Yeah, 15 people or so. And then from there, it just started to build. So it was like 15 and then 20, like 23, 25. And eventually we built it up after maybe, 10, 12, 13 events. We were starting to get maybe 40 to 50 people at each one of them.
Averaging that, yeah.
Just averaging that. And then the next semester we did it, Penn actually told us, they said, hey, you guys are crushing this. We want you to keep going, but now we want to start paying you because we want you to just really keep doing this. So Penn became one of our first clients in terms of on a bigger scale for events like that. Penn was one of our first clients. And then from there, we just kept it pushing. We kept doing events. And it really helped us define our teaching styles together, where no one else can really put on the same type of event that we do because there's three of us, we're all high energy, and we're like really in your face. We're having a good time with it. Our whole thing is lit and fit, so we make sure it's like a fun time. It's also fit, and then we make it super social, so everybody's a friend after you leave.
Yeah, and then since then, we've kind of consistently built up our skills in teaching group classes and then also doing personal training. So we started working at Penn's gym, doing group fitness classes, and doing personal training. After we graduated, we then went to the first studio that we worked at, the first kind of boutique fitness studio. And then from there, again, kept honing our skills, building up to where now We're doing events with like these big, pretty big companies, pretty big brands, as Triyo Fitness, right? It's like by ourselves because we're able to take all the skills that we learned from the different studios, the different personal training stuff, and then just, research and studying to really kind of build up our brand to where now, we can do collaborations with brands like Lululemon, and just do stuff like that to where we have credibility. We know what we're doing, and it's awesome to see that we built that up from being seniors in high school, kind of just messing around with a couple iPhones. So that's kind of how we started things out.
That's an awesome story. It's so cool to hear about all the hard work that you put into it and how far you've been able to come.
It took some time, yeah. It took some time.
Yeah, we can relate to a lot of that. So that's amazing to hear that it's worked out so well for you.
So like you guys, we're siblings working together, and we know that it has its ups and downs, of course. So what has it been like working with your brothers throughout all of this?
Yeah.
It's been it's a good time. Like we actually like each other. We're usually not. But whenever we get together, which is a lot of the time, we end up just having a good time. Whether it's like taking breaks in between work and like dancing a little bit, or just making sure that we enjoy the process. But I was talking about this the other day. There's definitely times where it's like, okay, like I kind of want my own space, or like he's doing stuff that's like, I don't like this. I don't like that.
I say he's bugging all the time.
So we kind of figured this out. Like once a month or so, we kind of end up just airing everything out. So like we'll have if someone might pop off and like, yo, Khalil, you've been doing this, I don't like it, and then he kind of like starts to change. So it's like, all right, well, you know what? If we're talking about it, you've been doing something that we didn't like either. So it kind of just we make sure we communicate it. And we know, like, at the end of the day, like, everything's going to be cool. But
it's all gravy.
But you just have to make sure that there's that constant, honest communication, which I think was what makes us so good. Because I'm going to tell him what he needs to hear. I'm going to tell him what he needs to hear no matter what. But I also trust that no matter what we have to do, it'll get done. Like, I can blindly trust Malik to get anything done that I ask him to do when it comes to, because he went to Wharton. So when it comes to business, finance, I'm like, yo, Malik, we can't figure this out, but I know you're gonna be able to do it no matter what. So working together, I think it's mostly we're successful because it's built on trust and open communication.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, you said it pretty good. I have nothing to add. So
yeah, as working together, like we were saying, like working together as siblings definitely can have its ups and downs, but we've had a great time doing it, and it seems like you guys really enjoy it as well. Do you guys all live together too?
Yes,
the crib right here.
The house right here.
We lived together for the past year, but we're
That's
coming to the end of that. So.
But it was fun.
It was fun. Yeah, it was good.
We worked it out.
At Penn, when we were freshmen, we were in separate dorms.
Yeah.
And then sophomore year, we're like, you know what? This whole random roommate thing, not working out. Let's just live together again.
It's easier to live together.
It's easier to live together.
Yeah. That's what we were saying. Like, I won't live with anyone else but my sister at this point. Like, I'm not willing to do that again. But yeah, we know how to make that work.
Exactly.
So we
yeah,
totally
we
get
can do a
that.
lot with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So everything in the world has changed so much recently. So with everything that's been going on, how have you adapted your business and also managed to stay motivated in spite of everything happening?
So the way we've adapted our business because of the pandemic and COVID and everything is just, we were already kind of headed towards the direction of doing more online stuff. I tell people sometimes, like, if this is hit a year later, then I actually think we would be in a pretty good position because we were already starting to build up that infrastructure for the online training, the online program sales and all that stuff. And so it was like knowing where it was headed and just having that vision in my head, it was like, dang, like I wish this, we would have been ready for this and we would have started a year earlier or something. But I mean, it is what it is. Like, you can't really do much about it. So we're already kind of pivoting towards online stuff. And it's also just pushed us to really work on it and say, cool, now it's kind of a necessity. Like, we can't train clients in person, so we need to train them through Zoom, through FaceTime, whatever. We can't teach classes in person, so now we got to do it online. And then in terms of like the programs that we make, the workout programs that we make, now we have to really be able to sell these online. And again, it's not like we're rushing the process, but it kind of puts more of like a pressure on you to just get it done, which is, I think, led to a lot of growth for us. So like, we've been able to grow in terms of understanding troubleshooting, understanding the best way to teach a class from home. For me, it's like, okay, how do we sell stuff online? Like, what do I need to figure out to be able to make this process work? Like, how do I send out the sales email? How do I, build the sales page? Like all that stuff. I wasn't gonna really have to do that until now. So now we're really pushing it. I don't think we've had too much of an issue pivoting. Again, there's pressure on us, but at the end of the day, we're super positive guys. We know we can get it done. And that's really what kind of keeps it moving. Like, we're not really stressed about it. And thankfully we're not. We're in a position where we don't have to be super stressed about it. But the work does have to get done in this situation. Because if it doesn't, then we will, it's not gonna be good. We've been working on it, it's not too bad.
I think another example of that is just figuring out how do you diversify your avenues of either like your brand avenues, right? I mean, also how you might make money. I think a great example is that we're on TikTok now. We weren't on TikTok before the quarantine, and we've actually had some very fast growth on TikTok because of the consistency of how much we make TikToks and post on it, but also B, it's just like the focus now that everybody has online, right? And so I think it was a great time for us to get on TikTok because now it's like, all right, well, we're in the house together anyway. It's the best time for us to make content. Everybody else is also trying to consume a bunch of content right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's also been super fun. So I think as a general idea, we've always tried to diversify our brand via being on YouTube, being on Instagram, having a website, having some kind of email presence, right? Just a whole bunch of different avenues of having awareness about Triyo Fitness. And now TikTok is probably one of our biggest avenues. Yeah. In the past 2 months, we just kind of we hopped on TikTok. We're very deliberate about it. And I think that just kind of goes to show that, whatever the situation is, you can pivot in a certain way that's going to benefit you, right? No way, in my opinion, right? We have the same growth on TikTok that we have now because everyone's not watching the screen all day, which is, a good and a bad thing. Well, bad in terms of if you don't know how to manage that, right? Mm-hmm. But I just think that, we're able to pivot in a way that really helped our brand grow versus be stagnant in a situation like this. So that was just a big one that we had for sure.
Yeah, that's amazing. So can you tell us about what that learning curve was like going on to TikTok and obviously mastering it in a very short period of time? Where do you get your inspiration for your videos and how did you figure out how to play that game well?
So the TikTok thing started with one of my friends. She was like, you guys would do great on TikTok. And this was maybe early February she said this.
Yeah, shout out to Rachel, yo.
That's awesome. And I was like, yeah, TikTok, cool, whatever. I've seen people doing it. But doesn't really wasn't a big deal to me, right? And she kept telling me, let's make a TikTok, let's do this. And I'm like, all right, yeah, we'll get it done eventually. And then it was the weekend before the official quarantine started and everything was closed. I was in the house with Malik and I was like, yo, Malik, well, let's make a TikTok. I looked at it, tried to figure it out. Kind of confusing, right? I was like, I had to scroll through it a lot, but I figured it out. Let's just make a TikTok. And then pretty much we pulled Khalil into it. I'm like, yo, let's just make a TikTok real quick. Let's figure it out and we'll do it. Posted it, got no views at the beginning, right? Which is expected, right? You just got on the platform.
We didn't have any followers.
but we had no reason not to stay consistent and just hey, let's just post a couple TikToks every day, see what happens. And the consistency, literally the only, the most important key to anything is just being consistent. So we've been posting 2 or sometimes 3 TikToks every day for the past 2 months. And that's the reason we've grown so fast. Anybody can really do anything as long as they have the right amount of consistency with it. And when it comes to us, I think the learning curve is just something that we just have to realize, hey, change your perspective, do what you can, do your research, figure it out, and you'll get there. So I don't think it's too difficult for us to learn things because we know that we'll get there if we just keep practicing and paying attention to it. But it was definitely a good move. I mean, TikTok is fun. A lot of people hate on it. Oh, it's for no reason though. It's it's 13-year-old girls, and I'm like, bro, TikTok's kind of lit. You should check it out. And honestly, we think again during a time like this, people are going online they want to see content, and it's not a little. Now, granted, the majority of the people on that app are younger, but that's obviously going to grow. It's a young app, so it's just going to grow later. But I think another thing that people don't really see is that when people are consistent on social media, they plan that out. It's not they just wake up in the morning, oh, what am I going to film today? So what I really kind of wanted to do was make sure, if we were going to be serious about it, let's have a plan for it. Because you don't just think of ideas on the spot. So I even went and not efficiently. So I was like, we're spending way too much time on these videos. We have to make videos for TikTok and Instagram. So then I made an entire spreadsheet that we can just go into, and each one of us edits and it says basically like, all right, what type of content do you think we're gonna do? Boom, 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 and then like put the TikTok sound in there, like figure out what the dance is gonna be, whatever it is. Like, so you have an idea of what you're gonna do going into it. I think people think this stuff is just like, let's just post it and maybe it'll get big. Like, that's not really how that works. There's method behind everything. Even if it is something that's fun and like you love doing, if you're really serious about it, that's when you're gonna make a method behind it so you can have fun doing it and also make the biggest impact that you possibly can, which is what we do now. And I think it's a great platform for us because we love to like have fun. We love to spread positivity, motivation, like entertainment. And then that's the app for it. Like, it's just, it happens to be something that we're really good at because of who we already are naturally.
That's incredible. I love the strategy behind all of it. It's cool to hear like what the thought process
is. And she's been fighting off downloading TikTok the entire time that we've been at home, just saying.
It could happen.
So just speaking of advice and like being on the internet a lot, so because of this whole COVID-19 situation, as you've been saying, people have been online like a lot more than usual. And of course, there are lots of positive things about that, but being online can also come with some negatives, things like cyberbullying. So if you were talking to someone who has been cyberbullied or is currently being cyberbullied, what advice would you give to them?
The best way for you to live, in your own self is just to be yourself at the end of the day. A lot of people are going to have an opinion on it because everybody has an opinion. But if you stay strong in kind of what your values are, what you believe, like that's a really good way to kind of draw strength from yourself and understanding like you're not willing to compromise yourself for other people. And again, it's easier said than done, but when you can stay strong and stay consistent in what you believe in yourself, that's going to help you kind of, fight off those bullies. And then, hopefully again, like they don't continue to do that. But the second that you start to kind of give into that and like, start to change yourself for them, I think that is when like the bullies win. So I think the strongest thing you can do is just kind of try to be yourself, keep doing what you do. And then eventually you will find your people that do respect whatever it is maybe that you do it. Like you're online, whatever, maybe you post stuff and people bully you for it. Again, like that's a terrible thing for them to be doing. But I think the strongest thing for you to do is just stay strong in yourself and kind of stay grounded in your own values. And additionally, you want to fill your, more of like actual things that you can do in terms of like, how do I use my social media? Fill your social media with positive content. So follow people that are actually positive people to follow, right? There's plenty of bad Instagram accounts and TikTok accounts that post things that are like just not conducive to you as, content you should be consuming. But we follow people like Gary Vee, other entrepreneurs and stuff that just put out positive content all day, every day. And that's one of the things that's changed our mindset the most is just seeing it over and over again. Do what you want to do. Follow your dreams, make sure you dive into your passions, everything like that is what I think has really been affecting us. Because, we're a social media generation. Like, we see it all the time. We're around screens all the time. So it's important that you kind of moderate what it is that you're consuming mentally to make sure that you stay in that positive place. So I think for us, like our Instagram feeds, and as soon as I see somebody I don't like on Instagram, unfollow. It's just like, I literally can feel myself in a bad mood when I see something. I'm like, I don't want to see this anymore. Let's make sure that's not there. Let's cut that out, right? But sometimes it's tough though. If someone's commenting on your stuff, cyberbullying like that, then of course, like in that situation, you kind of have to follow Malik's advice and just make sure you stick to your values. And hopefully you've consumed enough, you've heard enough positive input. It's like, hey, I know what I'm worth. I can ignore the person that's commenting on this or delete the comment, whatever it is that you want to do about that.
I got two kind of pieces of advice. Number one is like, now this one might seem a little bit like obviously you can just turn it off, right? But like, I think that is one thing that is overlooked, especially in a time where we always have our devices in our pockets, right? So for example, we talked about this the other day, like, when we wake up, we don't touch our phones for like a couple hours, maybe it's like you turn on, you might turn the music on, right? I'm not saying like I don't touch it, but like, I'll open it up. If I have a text, I might read that. But like, I try to open it up. If I'm gonna use it, I put my earphones in and like that's it, right? And I'll just go about, my morning routine or whatever I'm gonna do. Maybe I'll do my workout. but I try not to look at social media until at least like 2 or 3 hours after I wake up, right? Now, it doesn't happen every single time, right? But my point there is that when you limit the consumption, it's like, you know, you're going to feel a lot better if you see negative things instead of that, right? Or, I mean, positive things will make you feel better that way as well. But the whole point is like limiting your consumption is going to make you feel and focus on, you know, your actual life in the physical versus online. That's number one. Then number two is, you know, just thinking about some of the negative comments that we've gotten, either about, you know, videos that we've made or just things that we've done online. We've gotten some media attention, right? So we've definitely seen those comments. Honestly, it's not like I feel in any way superior to people, but it's that it's more so I feel bad that they have to express this kind of energy, right? I mean, because I'm looking and it's just like you know, you need to say something to put someone else down to, like, you know, make yourself feel a certain kind of way, right? And I legitimately empathize with that. I feel kind of bad for that. I sympathize with that, right? And it's just, you know, I think they're going through something that is much, you know, that is a certain, like, they have to deal with that, right? To be able to actually like say something like that to kind of make themselves feel better about it, or just put somebody else down. I mean, me personally, I try to have like as positive thoughts as possible, right? So I'm not gonna go around and be like, yo, Malik, that's a really ugly, you know, sweater, right? It's like, I don't want to have that in my head. You know what I'm saying? That negativity only hurts someone that's really thinking about it. Obviously can hurt Malik too, but, you know, but just in general, like, I think the empathetic approach can help neutralize the effect of those comments, to be like, you know, I wish, you know, they felt better about themselves or whatever they're going through versus posting this comment, right? Because obviously it's a sign of something that they're going through, right? There's also just ignorance, but, you know, we're not gonna get into that.
I think I actually,
yeah.
I think I actually want to say one more thing is also that not just drawing on what you have in here, but also have like a squad, a team, you know, your homies or whatever. Like, they're gonna be the ones that build you up anyways. They're the only ones who actually know you. And when we're talking about people online, like, you know, you're behind a screen, this person's in front of their keyboard, who knows where they are? But if you can come back to your roots and just like the people who actually know you, those are the people who are going to build you up and be your foundation. Like, listen to those people who actually care about you, and draw strength from them and kind of what they tell you, as opposed to, you know, the people that you don't know online and the people who don't actually interact with you on a regular basis.
This is all really good advice. I love having the three perspectives as well. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And that 2 to 3 hours in the morning without going on social media is like something to aspire to. That's
Honestly, you just put it like way away, right?
I have to like hide my phone
Yeah,
to
I
make
have to
that
throw
happen.
mine across the room.
So our final question for you guys is just something that we've been asking everyone that we've been talking to. What have you been doing to keep your heads up during such a difficult time?
Me personally, I've just kind of changed my perspective. Like, the more I run away from the situation that we're in quarantine, you know, there's a worldwide pandemic, like, that's not going to change. If I deny it, if I'm like, you know, I can't believe this is happening, like, the sooner that I was able to accept that and kind of get over it. And of course, there are days where it's still kind of surreal, like, whoa, like, we're in a worldwide pandemic. This is ridiculous. But the sooner that I was able to more or less accept the fact that, hey, we're going to be in the house for a while, you know, a lot of this stuff is going to be closed for a while. The world's going to be different for a while. The sooner I was able to accept that, the sooner I was able to get like actually keep working on myself and keep pushing on our goals and everything, and figure out different processes that we have to implement to make sure that everything keeps going in terms of my personal health, the business, making money, stuff like that. The sooner you can change your perspective and understand that this is the new reality. As much as it sucks, everything gets better once you actually understand that. So for me, just like changing that perspective is probably the biggest thing.
For me, I would say just getting a routine. That really helped me. I got something to focus on. I got something to work for. I'm always thinking about getting better at something, you know, even with this situation. I can get better at boxing. I can get better at my shadow boxing, you know. I can get better at, you know, making TikTok content, right? You know, obviously I can't get better at training somebody in person, right? But I can get better at training them online. How do I kind of like, you know, transfer that same energy through a screen? So I think, you know, once, like you said, once you accept the situation, can have that perspective shift where it's like, look, this is how I live right now, right? It's not always going to be like this, but if I just, you know, accept this moment, I can work towards this, and then whatever else comes later, that's cool, but I can focus on being happy with what I've got right now. So really it's routine and kind of being able to work on certain things every single day.
I said keeping my head up in this time has really been a product of just seeing the flip side. There's always now we can recognize already that this is a worldwide pandemic and like there are so many negative outcomes. Of course, a lot of people don't have the opportunity to kind of do what I'm doing, which is bettering myself every day and all that good stuff. But once you understand that part, you accept that, then you kind of focus on the flip side and say, all right, like what opportunities came out of this? There's a whole bunch of opportunity online now for people who want to create content or sell something online, but you have to work for that opportunity. It's not just going to come at you because, now it's flipped. Like you have to kind of see that opportunity and then take advantage of it. So that's how I keep my head up. I just see like all the positive stuff that can come out of this. Maybe it's more connection, like deeper connection with your friends who now you don't see that much anymore, but you talk to them on a regular basis. They keep you grounded. You might be closer to people than you've ever been before because now you don't have to go into work. Maybe you work from home, you have some extra time during the day. Maybe you can exercise more, like whatever the case may be, there's opportunity, but you gotta see the flip side. Like you can either focus on the negative stuff or focus on the positive stuff. I'm just choosing to focus on the opportunities, and there's a whole bunch of them once you start looking for them.
Yeah, so true.
That's awesome. And it sounds like you totally have been taking advantage of that, which is really cool to see. So congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. So those are all the questions we have for you guys today. Thank you so much for taking the time out to talk with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. It's been great chatting with you.
Yeah.